Adding and subtracting rational numbers. Okay, let's start off by recalling some integer operations. Okay, 4 plus minus 6. So what I do with these sorts of questions is the first thing is combine two signs that are next to each other into one sign. And this isn't the only way to do integers, but just a quick little reminder of how to do integers. We're going to need them for adding and subtracting rational numbers. And then I think about these as positive 4 and this as negative 6. And the rule is if you have one positive and one negative and they meet, they eliminate each other. So they form a 0. And that idea I liken to, or make an analogy to, like a battlefield. So if you've got 4 on one side and negative 6 on the other side, and all things being equal, they go to war, you can see which side has the most, which is the negatives, and how many more will they have? Well, they'll have 2 more, and there's your answer to this integer problem. So if you get another problem that's like 8 and negative 2, you just do the same thing, 8 minus 2, and you can think about it as the integer chips, which team's going to win. The positives are going to win by how many? They're going to win by 6, or you can just do 8 take away 2 is 6. It gets just as easy to do when you have 7 minus negative 1. You just make it 7 plus 1, and 7 plus 1 is 8, because they're on the same team. So these positive 7, I think I drew too many there. These positive 7 meet this plus 1, and they just combine together to make 8. And then it gets a little harder when you get bigger numbers, but you can see the negatives are going to win, and the negatives are going to win by 12. So there's your answer. Now, when we move on from there to working with rational numbers that are expressed as, in this case, decimals, the same sort of thing happens. So let's take a look. Okay, similarly, we can do this sort of adding and subtracting with rational numbers that are expressed as decimals. So if you have 2.5 minus 3.7, you can say, oh, the negatives are going to win this battle, and how much are they going to win by? They're going to win by 1.2. So the answer to this is negative 1.2. And if I liken that to 25 minus 37, it's just moving the decimal place over and then moving it back, right? So it's a very, very, very similar type of question. Let's take a look at the next one. 3.42 plus 7.11, and yes, you need to be able to do these sorts of questions without a calculator. So the trick with these 3.42 plus 7.11. Yes, you need to be able to do these without a calculator. The trick with these is to line up decimal places. So think about it as 3.42 and 7.11 and make sure the decimal places are nicely lined up, and you can add and get 10.53. So there is your solution for this one. If we do the same with negatives, not a problem. They're both on the same team. They're both negative, so they'll combine together and join forces. That's just like adding. So really I'm doing 6.2 and 3.19, and you can think about that as a 0. And when you add, you get 9.39, except you were adding a couple of negatives together. Okay, next example, 7 take away 9.45. Well, you can see the negatives win, and really what you're trying to do with this is the negatives are winning, and how many positives get cancelled out is really like subtracting 7, and so you get 5, 4, 2. The negatives are bigger than the positives by 2.45, so they win by 2.45. So there's the they win, and by how much is the 2.45. 18.17 take away negative 14.881. Well, two negatives, deal with that first. It's 18.17 plus 14.881, and then think about doing the addition and subtraction. And to do that, you need to line up those decimal places. 881, there's really a 0 here, so 15, carry the 1, 8, 9, 10, carry the 1, 12 and 1 is 13. So your answer to this question is 33.015. 051, sorry. If you need to do that work on the side, please do it. Okay, it's really practicing adding and subtracting decimals, and as rational numbers, sometimes those decimals can be negative. And we are doing all of this without a calculator. You can, of course, check with the calculator and see how that goes, but you need to be able to do this without a calculator. All right, see you in class.